good though, man? What you want to jump out with?
Hey, man, let's jump right into it, man. Danny Dimes, man. Danny Dimes, G-Man.
New York.
New York. Inked his deal. Agreed to a 4-year, $160 million contract. And obviously, you look on Twitter, you look, on TV, a lot of people talking different things. Was he overpaid? And here you go, in Rappaport, got the details. It's 4 years, $160 million deal, $35 million more in incentives, $82 million over the first 2 years, $94 million virtually guaranteed at signing. First year cap number is around $19 million. Man. And for the people that don't know, as players and as agents, what you want is your money front loaded. So you want your money in the first 2 years. So in a 4-year deal, if I can get as much money as I can in my first 2 years, that's great. And here you can see he gets over half of his money in his first 2 years. So
and 94 virtually guaranteed at signing. However that deal breaks down. Sometimes you go into that second year and then, once something happens, the $10 million from the third year, something like that is guaranteed. That's why you see, when it's decision time for these teams to cut somebody before or after a certain date, things like that happen. And this is business, man. This is the market. Obviously, a lot of people look at this deal and say, whoa, Daniel Jones. I would never pay Daniel Jones, $40 million a year, et cetera, et cetera. But it's business, man. You don't get what you deserve in this world. This is real life. It's not only just football. In this world, you get what you can negotiate, what you have the leverage and the ability to negotiate. And that's what Daniel Jones and his agent was able to do up there in New York. So getting this deal, I think this was a good deal. I think it's a good deal for both sides, honestly, because you obviously been rooting for Daniel Jones and saying like, hey, I still think he could be the guy up there in New York. I wasn't necessarily sold on him. I still think it's a lot more room for him to grow.
For sure.
But I think this is a solid deal. It didn't pick up the 5th-year option. Basically had to bet on himself and had a good year. You look, a lot of people look at it and say, hey, he only threw X amount of passing touchdowns. He only did this. That team was productive. That team took great steps under a new coach. That team won a playoff game. And he's still young, too. That always factors into these deals. You're not only paying for what they've done, but what you expect them to do. So Brian Daboll, obviously, they got a bunch of money to spend to put a good team around them. But I think this is a good deal from both sides, from the Giants and Daniel Jones right here. How you feel about this one?
Man, I tweeted that, when it came out, and it was like, man, I think this is a solid deal for both sides. Knew Danny Dimes wasn't going to kill the bank. But again, as an organization, you got to sit back and say, okay, where they drafting at? They're drafting at late 20s in this year's draft. Is there going to be a quarterback that's going to be there at that time that we feel like can come in and do a better job than Danny Dimes?
Yeah.
But I would say probably not. Maybe, you don't know, but you know what you have in Daniel Jones. You bring in Brian Daboll. Now Daniel Jones will be able to have him for a second year. As you mentioned, there's definitely some room for improvement for Daniel Jones. But again, they have a lot of money to spend this offseason. So bring some extra pieces into that team and you see where it can go. And again, a lot of people saying like, man, how does Daniel Jones get paid before Lamar? I think we all in agreement where Lamar Jackson should be getting paid, and he should be getting paid more than what Daniel Jones is getting paid. But what Daniel Jones and what his agent and what the New York Giants were able to do was able to come to a conclusion. And that's where Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens are having some differences of opinion. But again, I think this is a good deal for both sides, man. So and a 4-year deal too. So Daniel Jones still young, so he'll be able to, see the market again. If he plays well.
Yeah, if he plays well, if he outplaying this deal, I'm sure it'll be some other suitors, and maybe the Giants should be ready to lock him up again. And when this free agency or before free agency, your team kind of sets the tone and sets that precedent for what's going to go on with your negotiation. Obviously,